He fell asleep in New Jersey before the bombs hit the ground. Broadcasting from a bomb shelter, he is the nuclear clown.
I never played any of the first two Dragon Age games before I played Dragon Age Inquisition, which is what I'm going to talk about today. So I had no earthly idea what I was doing in this game. I didn't know these funky people that were showing up. They would mention places. I had no idea what they were talking about. And really, I didn't even start to get the hang of the finer mechanics of the game, like your Inquisition points and stuff like that. Your Inquisition perks, I should say, and things like that. Until relatively into the game, I did finish the game on my first playthrough, and I've started my second, and I'm here to share my thoughts with you. It is review age, if you will or if you won't. You probably won't. My spoiler-free review of this game, by the way, I'm reviewing it for the PlayStation 4. I have no idea if there's problems with the PC version or whatnot. This is only for PS4. My spoiler-free review of the game is as thus. Dragon Age Inquisition is a really, really good game. It is an overwhelming game. It will overwhelm all over your face. And I will get into this more in detail in my spoiler-free review. It's really, really huge, which is exactly what you want for a game like this. But the way that the content is kind of intermeshed with the main story of the game, I think they could have done a lot better. And at times, I felt almost like lost in doing this sea of side quests and not really knowing how to kind of get on track. And it was almost like when I started the game, I felt like they just let you loose. They get you started on the main story, and then they just turn you loose, like in Sling which is my favorite term ever. Like when he's like, they turned me loose from the nervous. Okay, they turned me loose. Not like they let me out. They turned me loose like an animal, like a dog or something, or a wolf. They just turned him loose. I love that term. So anyway, so they turned me loose on this world. And I'm kind of running around doing quests and stuff, and I'm thinking like, where is, like, how am I gonna finish this stuff? And I'm everywhere I turn, I'm getting quests. I'm getting quests from every place, and I have no idea like what I'm supposed to be doing to kind of advance the story. It took me a while to get the hang of that. Also, I have a low intelligence, so maybe you won't have this problem. Maybe the other Dragon Age games are like that. I don't have anything to compare it to as far as that goes. But overall, I think the game felt so overwhelming with the stuff there was to do. I wish that it would have kind of taken you by the hand for at least a little bit longer before just setting you out into the world. Another thing that was kind of jarring to me of a similar kind of topic is they have all these companions in the game. There's 9 companions that you can get in this game, and they're all very colorful, and they're all very fun, and they're all very cool. They all have their own personality and stuff like that, and they're all neat in their own way, except for Cole. God damn Cole, and whatever Fade Rift he fell out of, because fuck him. I hate him. I hate him. I want to harm him. I want to physically harm him. But we'll talk about that later. This is a long spoiler-free review. Anyway, the game is really good. If you're into these long kind of role-playing game type deals, Dragon Age Inquisition has a lot of stuff that you're going to love. There were parts of it, however, where I felt that graphically it lacked in odd places. And I know you're probably going to think that's weird because the game is universally lauded for its graphics. Lauded. That's the right word, right? Lauded. Lauded, like good, like that's anyway. Everybody likes the graphics on this game, and they are very beautiful, but there's weird things that look off. Hair in this game looks like shit pretty much on everyone, and this game suffers from that thing that I don't know how this happens in games, where some people will look good, and then other, like character model wise, some faces will look good and look, impressive looking, and then other people will look just weird and like straight out of PlayStation 2. It is the oddest thing. Also graphically, this game is so into shiny things. It's a game where, like, if your guy's wearing armor and he's standing perfectly still, he's gleaming like everywhere. There's just shine everywhere. Like when you're in Orlais for that party, and you're with the Empress and stuff, and you can save her or kill her or hump her or whatever. I don't know. Everything is gleaming. Everything is like nothing. There's no light. None. And everything is just shining and gleaming and like this, like moving kind of gleam, and it's distracting and it looks weird. There's little graphical things like that put me off, that I don't think should be happening in a quote unquote next generation game. But let's be honest, it's not the PS4, it's the PS 3.5, right? Like, this compared to the previous generation, there's really, yeah, it looks better, okay, but is it really, does it, I don't know. I want a dramatic jump in quality graphically and just all around before you ask people to shell out for new systems. And this is like almost a laughable difference. Like if you compare PS3 to PS2, big difference. PS2 to PS1, enormous difference. Like that's how it should be, right? So this is the PS 3.5, I guess. So another little graphical thing, and I want to point this out because there's so much of the game that looks great. The environments are unbelievably spectacular and great, beautiful looking, which is why these little things are so puzzling to me, that maybe it's because they stand out so much more because the environments are so well done. That's possible. But hair and like facial hair looks terrible. It looks like my facial hair, just like shitty. Like, what is that thing? Like I got this weird, it's almost like even my chin hair even my facial hair is like thinning. I don't even understand how that happens, but hopefully someday I'll go through puberty. Maybe when I'm 46, maybe I'll start. I'm hoping. But it just, hair looks really bad. Some of the people, like for example, the one night, Lord Seeker. The Lord Seeker guy. His face just looks like he's jumped out of a Battle Arena Toshinden or something. I don't know. And I don't... There's stuff like people will vanish and then pop up. If you're if you're moving the camera around with the stick, there'll be a point where you'll get so close to somebody that they will vanish altogether. They will just disappear, and then when you move the camera a certain way, they will pop in place again. And this is not subtle. It's actually very, like, it's almost laughable that, you get to a certain point and then they get scared and just like disappear. And that is really jarring, and it makes the game come off cheap as far as graphically, I think. Again, which is very odd because the backgrounds are so beautiful in this game. But stuff like that stands out. Also, a lot of the motions and the movement just seem jittery to me. Normally, if I was playing this on a PC, I'd chalk it up to having a shitty PC or a shitty video card or whatever. Everything I get is crap. But it's PS4. Like, it's the same, as your PS4 or whatever. It's not going to be different. So I don't know what that kind of issue is. But those are some of the things I noticed. So anyway, long, boring story short. Spoiler-free review. Would I recommend Dragon Age? I believe you can get this game on Amazon for $40. If you can, go for it. It's going to keep you busy for a really long time. There's plenty of very interesting characters. The backgrounds are just gorgeous. The amount of freedom they give you to wander around and do what you want to do is really, really good. The crafting system, I like a whole lot. I'm appreciating the game way more my second playthrough because I didn't bother with any of that stuff when I was starting the game. I just wanted to kind of get on with it and see what was going on because I had no idea about anything. But my second playthrough, when I actually understand how stuff works a little bit better, it's that much more enjoyable. And you can see I'm actually having more fun my second time through than my first time through, which to me says a lot about the game. A game this big where like, yeah, sure, I'll play again for another 50 hours or something, which should tell you the stuff I missed because people are like, I played for 90 hours and didn't even get past the hinterlands or whatever. Lots to do. So yes, I would recommend it, but there are some things to me that are disconcerting about the graphics and for a game of this generation. I just would expect by now to not have crap like that pop up, and it really jumps out to me. If you're a Dragon Age fan, I don't know. I know that Dragon Age 2 was very poorly received. I didn't play it. But I've heard that they just kind of locked you in one place and that was it. There was like one city and you couldn't leave for the entire game. And a lot of people hated that because Dragon Age Origin, they let you wander around wherever you wanted to go. I guess they're making up for lost time and kind of saying sorry because in Dragon Age Inquisition, you fucking wander around like a nomad and go wherever you want, and the places are huge and there are just quests everywhere. So just get it. If you think you like games like this, just get it. You're gonna like it. I really can't see anybody who is a fan of this series or is a fan of this type of long, involved role-playing game. You're gonna like it. Or I will give you your money back. If you buy Dragon Age Inquisition and don't like it, I will send you a check for $3.75 to put towards buying a game that you do like. Cross my heart. So we're gonna spoil stuff now. We're gonna talk about some stuff about the game. I love the idea of not being a bitch. That's great. Being a bitch every day in real life, it's nice to get away every now and again and be somebody of importance. In Dragon Age Inquisition, you play a kind of Jesus-like herald figure, and you are the head of the Inquisition. Some downright magical stuff happens. People think that you're a chosen of a god of so-and-so, and they treat you with respect or fear or whatever. And you're leading an organization. And this game does a fantastic job of really making you feel that way. And it reminds me, in a lot of ways, some of this stuff should have been in the World of Warcraft expansion, their most recent one, Warlords of Draenor. I'm sorry if you hate Warcraft, but just there's a comparison I want to talk about for 2 seconds. In Warlords of Draenor, you become a commander and you have a garrison. You're like the leader of a fort, pretty much. You have your own, like a keep. You have your own keep, and you send your followers on missions and stuff like that. And that's all well and good, but you feel more like you're leading just these individual adventurers who are doing stuff you kind of should be doing. They should have, instead of followers, I think it would have been really, really great, especially if it's Warlords of Draenor and they're going the whole kind of conquest route. Instead of followers, they should have done units. and incorporated some kind of military mini game. It doesn't have to be anything huge. You know, a unit could be like a squad of 10 guys or something like that. I'm not talking about, you know, leading thousands and thousands of men, but they can certainly do something where there's kind of like some kind of tactical mini game just to make you feel more like a conqueror, like a commander, like a military kind of leader leading some organization. They tell you you're running a garrison, but, you know, you're like in charge of some guys and you're sending them on missions, doing stuff that really you should be doing. And that's about that. I didn't feel like I was in command of anything really, really big. In Dark Ages, I'm sorry, I'm going to do that. In Dragon Age, I'm going to say Dark Ages all the time. In Dragon Age Inquisition, they do such a good job of making you feel like you are at the head of this movement. Numerous ways. It would have been very, very easy for them to just say, "Yeah, you're in charge, boss. You know, you're the man now, dog." And then just have you play a normal kind of RPG game. But they incorporate stuff like the war table, where it's like you meet with your advisors and you send them on missions across the two countries that are available in Dragon Age. You make alliances with people via this game, this little, you know, side quest game, and you get messages from the field on if it's succeeded or failed and what you get in return, and just little things like that you're doing throughout the whole game, and certain companions that you pick up along the way will open up access to certain quests on this kind of battle board, and it's just a nice little side thing to make you feel like you're really a mover and shaker in the world and getting things done. That's one way, just one way. Another way is once you get into your second kind of keep, your real like castle here, you'll go on, let's say you go on a quest and you defeat a big bad guy and you take him in alive. And when you get back to your keep, you can judge him. Like, you're in your throne and a little court scene plays out and you get an option as to how you want to deal with this particular person. And you'll mediate disputes, you'll sentence people, you'll, you know, depending on the quests that you choose to do. I'm sure I've missed a ton of them because there's so much to do in this game. But your exploits outside the game world, they kind of reverberate, and what you do matters, and you'll be seeing people again that you helped out. You during your quest, you recruit people into your Inquisition, and it's just, they do such a good job of, you know, not only telling you you're in charge and making the game about you being in charge, but making you really feel like you're in charge and saying, no, you don't understand. You're really in charge of this thing, and there are many really, really big choices that you have to make. Now, maybe this might not be a new thing for Dragon Age. Apparently, from what I've read online, all the games have been, you know, like, depending on what choices you made, like a lot of replay value, because different choices really kind of branch out into different facets of the game and have different outcomes. So I guess it's kind of nothing new, but I've personally never played a game of this kind of scale before where you feel that way. Normally, you know, games like this, you start out, you're a lowly adventurer guy and you kind of run around and you do your own shit. But in this, right from the start, you're important. And I think that that's fun. Not only is it fun, they embellish that's the wrong word. They really play up to that with other aspects of the game, and they're not, you know, you can easily ignore all the little side war table missions if you want. There's no penalty for ignoring them. But you can get items from them, you can get schematics from them. I'm sure that I've missed a ton. I'm sure you can get some really, really good rewards from them, money, influence, and what have you. Here's a problem, though, that I had with the game very, very early on, and still kind of wish they would have done differently. The way the game works is there's your main story quests, right? And then there's billions with a B of side quests everywhere. There's side quests for everything in this game. You cannot scratch yourself without finding a side quest for scratching yourself. Which is good and maddening at the same time, because after a relatively short period of time, they drop you off in a place called the Hinterlands, which is fucking enormous, and there are quests everywhere. 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 You open your map, and it is an explosion of iconography. There is crap everywhere. So, naturally, you want to explore, you want to get every single quest you can, you want to, pad your levels a bit, you want to enjoy the game. But the main chapters of this story require a resource called power to get. So, for example, once you get 5 power, you can start the next story mission. You can kind of say, okay, my Inquisition is powerful enough now where we can move on. So you expend your power to unlock areas and to unlock, further story missions. All right. But this leads to kind of a weird thing where I found myself going on all these side quests, doing all this stuff, and all these side missions and stuff, and feeling almost lost, like not having really an idea of what I was supposed to do. Like, all right, I'm just gonna go around adventuring all day. Okay, I'd kind of like to keep going with this main story, but I guess I'll just keep doing quests and junk. And your rewards for your quest are experience and items, and you get power also. So you do the quests to kind of farm the power to continue on the main quests. It sounds good in theory, but in practice, I felt just like lost doing busy work to kind of pay the admission fee to get to what I really wanted to do. And maybe that wouldn't have been such a big deal later on in the game, but early on, I felt lost and directionless. Like, I'm in this giant place, I want to explore everything, but the story just kind of says, yeah, there's no there's no urgency, is I guess what I'm saying. I think that I would have preferred it a little better if they would have kind of led you along for a while and you get more invested in the story and have the side quests kind of more follow the areas you go. As it stands now, there's entire regions of the map that you can do the whole main story and you don't even have to go, you don't have to go to an entire region, an entire zone in this game because your main quest isn't there. Sure, you can go if you want to, and some people might think that's great, but I think that they put so much work into this game, and I honestly don't know how much of it I'm going to see. It's almost like they overdid it. if that can be said. It's so overwhelming, and the zones can be so huge with so much to do everywhere. At times, it's almost like, you know what, fuck the main quest. Like, I don't even care. And it's good to get lost like that into the game, but I would much prefer to get lost in the main storyline instead of getting lost in busy work. If that makes sense. I don't know. It's almost like A for effort, but the whole kind of freedom to do what you want left me feeling a bit listless at times and directionless. Like, I was just roaming around, looking for the next quest to do. And I don't know. My second playthrough, I'm thinking, is undoubtedly going to be better because I kind of get it. It was kind of hard for me to grasp at first. The whole kind of power deal. I don't know if that's how they've handled it before, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going on way too long about that. Probably a personal preference thing. I don't know. I'm sure other people love that aspect of it. It's not really my thing all that much, I guess. Dragon Age Inquisition has some really, really unique and really, really likable characters. Cole sucks. If you're watching this, Cole, stay away from me from now on. Okay? I didn't tell you to fuck off my first playthrough because I didn't know what I was doing, but this time I am kicking you out the first chance I get. Because Cole is this guy, he's all stupid, like he looks like an idiot. He's this little twerp, and he's got like this big, ridiculous, like his hat looks like it looks almost like the Karaga the Hut from the Old Republic. Just like a big, goofy, floppy hat. That's like there's like a big strap holding up right here, and these big two. It's like, ugh, what is up with you, right? He's like some spirit guy or something like that, and he's the crazy character, right? But not the hot, like sexy crazy character like Tekla from Wolfenstein, who I want to bone so hard. I don't know what it is about her. She just drives me nuts. But not the cool kind of crazy character, but the character who, like, he talks in fucking Rain Man gibberish, you know, like it's like, so, hey Cole, how you doing? What, are you eating a sandwich there? That looks like a pretty good sandwich. What is that, a pastrami you got? And he's like, bread seeds, badgers in oceans smoking cigars, dogs playing pool, lettuce like crumbling worlds, earth gone, dirt flow. Swallow tomato. Yum. And you just want to fucking deck him. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that hot water burn baby bullshit. Like, shut the fuck up. You know, make sense. And a lot of people think Sarah in this game is super annoying. I don't. Like, she can be kind of, but I get the gist of what she's saying with her kind of parlance and the way that she talks, you know? She's like quirky and goofy and out there, but she's not like Cole. Cole is ridiculous. Cole is like Sarah times 12 as far as the, you know, nonsensical prattle that comes out of his fucking stupid mouth head that I just want to cave in with a bat. I gotta lay down. I gotta lay down. I'm sorry. One thing that's great. When you go somewhere to do something, you assemble your party, right? And it brings up a list of all your pals, all the people that you've assembled through your travels. And the art is so cool. They're displayed like tarot cards. So when you make your party, it's like you pick from tarot cards and stuff. And I love the art style of the tarot cards. Is so great. And as you proceed in their like personal stories and personal quests, and as you get to know them and stuff, the tarot cards for them change, which I thought it's such a nice little touch. You know what I mean? To really just kind of like, it's so cool. The cards look great. I would love to actually have, if they made a legit deck of tarot cards with these drawings on them, how awesome would that be? Like, just to display, you know what I mean? That would be the greatest. That would be so cool. I hope or just posters, like a poster of one of the cards would be great. It would be so neat. I hope they do something like that. Because some of them are just so nice. So very nice. As for the story itself, I kind of had to guess what was going on. After a while, it kind of sunk in that the chantry, and I always say chantry, like Tremere Chantry, but they go chantry, and that just seems weird to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm gonna go with I'm wrong because I'm a dumbass. Hot water burn baby. Fucking Cole, stupid ass. So you kind of just assume, like, or at least I was, because again, I'm not big on the lore. I haven't played any of these other games, so it's kind of like me jumping into something I have no idea what's going on. So after a while, I am assuming the chantry is like the church, like a Catholic church. It's just like a big, it's a name for like the big organized religion, and the divine would be like the Pope, I'm guessing, and stuff like that. So it's easy enough to follow once you kind of get into it. But at first, I was like, oh, huh? What? What's that mean? Who are you again? Especially when They bring in people from other games, like that girl Morrigan, who is such a Lulu ripoff. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? It's such a Lulu from Final Fantasy X. And then they made those other games where you just play dress up with them if you're a pervert. I got the shit out of that game. Yeah, you better believe that. Yeah. I think I gotta go play that real quick. So they brought in all these people like Hawk and Morrigan, I'm sorry, and stuff like that, and they like all these villains. I think the villain in this was in the other games, and it's like I don't know who that is, you know, and the whole end epilogue thing with Solus, and he's a wolf apparently, and I'm like I don't care who that is, whatever, get out of here. What, Solus is gone? Good, sweet. That's awesome, Solus. You're fucking boring, is what you are. But and it's weird that on a lot of the stuff online, as far as characters and stuff, everybody thinks Solus is pretty boring, and it's funny that his name is Solus, like Solas, but it sounds like soulless, like he's soulless, like he has no color to him at all. And not even in an endearing way. Like, it would be kind of cool if one of your companions was just a mage who was like a boring motherfucker, but like in a charming way where it's kind of like that's the point, you know. But soulless, I don't know. It's just he's soulless, and he's a wolf. Ooh, I'm scared of a big bad wolf. How about that? A big bald bad wolf. Ugh. There's only room in this party for one ugly bald man, Solus. I'm sorry. Get the fuck up and get the fuck out. But I will take Solus any day of the week over Cole, brother. Let me tell you that right now. Okay, enough Cole rambling. This being a BioWare game, you can fuck everyone. Except who I want to fuck in this game. Liliana's a hot little slice, and you know, I wanted to find out the ultimate secret, if you know what I'm saying, and I wanted to show her what the Herald of Andraste can do with the, you know, paddle and a cricket bat and motor oil. And she's not one of the humpable love interests in this game. And I thought it was kind of weird. And I think that, you know, look, hump who you want to hump. That's great. But this game, I think, is a little racist towards straight guys. There really, you can only pick Cassandra. You can only pick Cassandra. You can only pick her or Josephine. And that's it. That's it. I wanted to bone Sarah, but she had no interest in my little wiener because she's a lesbian. And like so many of the love interests are guys. Like the majority of the love interests in this game are guys. I'm not saying there has to be more girl love interest than guys, but I'd at least like it to be even, because it's the only relationship I'll ever know. So I thought that was kind of odd, kind of weird, because you'd figure in a video game like this, you want to appeal to the hopeless, lonely male demographic, right? That's what you'd want to do to sell some video games. Say, hey, you know, hey Dave, you know, you don't look that hot and you don't bathe too often. How'd you like a really super hot girlfriend just for playing a video game? Here's your imaginary girlfriend, Dave. You sick, pathetic freak. So that kind of puzzled me that the straight guys only get two choices for girls. I don't know, that's weird, but okay, all right, that's something there. That is certainly something. As far as the combat in this game, I never ever use the tactical view, because if you want, you can fight in kind of real time. Or if you're more of a kind of micromanager, or if you're playing on a higher difficulty, which I would never do ever in the history of forever, because I'm terrible at these games and I don't like challenge. It's challenge enough for me to get out of bed in the morning, okay? I don't need to play video games on nightmare difficulty. you can have like a tactical thing where you kind of freeze time and you give each person in your party commands that you can, speed up the camera and kind of it seems like a control freak's dream. It also seems really, really complicated, and I just don't want to deal with it. I really super don't want to deal with it. My first playthrough, I figured I would take it easy on myself and play a rogue, something ranged, so I wouldn't have to stand there in the middle of combat, since I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. So this playthrough, now that I kind of understand more how stuff works and what abilities kind of work in conjunction with each other, and kind of how to mix and match abilities and stuff like that, at least more efficiently than I did my first playthrough. This time I'm doing a warrior tank, and I am benching Cassandra, and doing the tanking myself, which is interesting. It can be really frustrating in combat, especially if you're a melee character, because you can't zoom the camera back, really. You know what I mean? And if stuff's hitting you and you just want a further kind of view of what's going on around you in real time, you have to like maneuver, swing the camera around. You can't pull back, so you can get a wider view of everything. And it's led to some pretty, it's frustrating at times. It's probably because I'm so used to MMOs where you can just have as wide a field of view as you want if you just pull the camera back. So I thought that was a little, it can get a little frustrating for melee characters. But I'm enjoying tanking a lot. Before, I just kind of stayed back and was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just putting abilities where I think they should go. And I did all right, I guess. I mean, but this time around, really kind of understanding stuff. It's fun. It's really fun putting together a party. And you can switch between party members whenever you want. Which is a really, really nice feature. So if you're the melee guy and you need to do something at range, you can switch to your range guy, have him do something, then switch right back to your melee guy. And having the option of doing the whole, micromanaging, I don't know what it's called. What is it? The tactical view or something like that for battles. That's a really, really nice touch. And maybe eventually, when I'm really, really super comfortable and super confident that I know what I'm doing, which will never happen, but only then would I try to do any of the tactical view stuff, because it seems like a handful, and you're really, really micromanaging your guys there, and that doesn't sound like too much fun to me. So yeah, the combat I like. I was really impressed with the reactions people give you depending on what race you pick. I thought that was just extraordinary. I wasn't thinking it would make such a big difference or impact the dialogue choices so much as it did. Maybe it's because I haven't played an RPG like this in so long. The last one I played was Fallout. Fallout New Vegas, which sucked. But 3 was incredible. Let's not talk about that now, because I'll get started. So it's been a while. It's been a good few years since I've really invested time in a non-MMO type, RPG game. At least that I can remember. I might be forgetting something. But my first playthrough, I was a dwarf, like I said, and so much of the dialogue was specific to me being a dwarf and the reactions people had to me for being a dwarf, and just little comments people would make as I was passing through and stuff. Really, really impressive. They didn't have to go that extra mile, and it's really impressive that they did. My second playthrough, I'm playing as a big, funky Kunari, the big horn guys. Tank warrior and stuff like that. And again, I mean, there's so many just little intricacies in the dialogue that that's really, really impressive. I can only imagine how much work went into a game of this size, and just everything they put into it. It's a really, really impressive game. It's a really impressive experience, and it is exactly what I wanted from a game like this, if that makes sense. My biggest personal issue, like I said before, is the way the story kind of goes, because when you're in control of when you do your main storyline quests, it makes the relationships very wonky, in my opinion, where it's like you'll talk to somebody once and you'll be like, oh, so hey, how you doing? Hi, I'm all right. How are you? I'm nice to meet you. Hello. And then you'll go and you'll do some side quests and stuff, and you'll, do your banter with the party and stuff, and it's all very cool and it's all very well written, and the voice acting is just awesome. And then you'll have so much power that you'll just like bore right through so many story missions in a row that within like 3 conversations, it feels like you go from like meeting someone to humping them to loving them forever. Like, it's the story isn't paced because you're the one who sets the pace, if that makes sense. And I think that it does a disservice kind of, and it's just jarring. I can't really put it into words how the whole, you kind of unlock the next storyline part whenever you have enough power and you can do it whenever you want. It's just, there's something about it where the relationships kind of just go wild, and you go from like acquaintances to oh wow, look, we're really close now because I burned through 3. I would have liked a steadier, kind of slower build as far as everybody kind of knowing each other and all this sort of stuff. It didn't seem gradual, I guess. And it's almost, it's such a silly, I don't even want to say it's a knock, but it just seems to me that they did too much for this game. It's ridiculous to say that. It really is. But, there's so many areas when I finished the game that I had not even set foot in. I did not even go in so many places when I beat the main story. And after you beat the main story, you can keep playing, just like, any good RPG game like this. But it was really just so incredible how much stuff was untouched, and it made me feel bad. It really made me feel like a fucking scrub for not going through. But Dragon Age Inquisition is a game that's going to take up a lot of your time. You want to talk about value for your money on this most recent podcast I recorded. I talk about Wolfenstein: The New Order and how, I don't know why I was going to cry there for a second, but Wolfenstein: The New Order. And I'm talking about that game and how it's a really good story-driven game, but you're only going to get so many hours out of it. You're going to play it. It's going to be maybe, if you're lucky, I don't know, 8 or 10 hours, maybe, probably. And that's probably being very, very generous as far as the storyline stuff. And then, like, once you're done with it, that's it. Like, it's a really, really nice story from start to finish. Really, really good. But then you're kind of done with it. Like, you're not going to be done with Dragon Age Inquisition anytime soon, trust me. And I find it so funny when I see online people saying, like, any word on downloadable content? When's the downloadable content coming out? Seriously? The game came out in November. Like, calm the fuck down. This game is enormous. You mean to tell me you're done? You're bored already with it? What's wrong with everyone? I don't know. They're just way better at these games than I am. Yeah. I think something that bears particular mention, or that warrants particular mention, is the crafting system. I love the crafting system, and here's why. The crafting in Dragon Age Inquisition, the way it works, offers you so much room to fuck around. Being used to MMOs and stuff, I've seen all kinds of crafting, the way different games handle it. From, being tedious and kind of grindy to sort of fun and kind of nice. I don't think I've enjoyed crafting as much in any game as I have in Dragon Age Inquisition. Probably because it's so simple, right? You find a schematic, and a schematic for, let's say, heavy armor, and it requires 8 globs of iron and some, I don't know, some leather or whatever. And any kind of ore will do as long as it's the right number. But the different kind of ore you use will either increase or decrease the effectiveness of the overall item. So you can really mix and match and use different materials to make different things. And the resources in this game are so plentiful. They're everywhere. Ore is everywhere. Herbs are everywhere. That if you make something and it sucks, or you make something and you fuck up, it's completely fine. Like, you're gonna be flush with resources just by playing this game, where you can craft and you can mess around and you can mix and match and see what works where. And I love that. It's so simple, and the gear you make is really, really good. I mean, like, I made when I on this recent playthrough, when I started really kind of getting into crafting and stuff like that, the armor I made was a good like 20 points of armor more than the set that I had just from questing, which I think is really, that's a big step up. I mean, it was really, really drastic, and it was not that hard to do. It wasn't that hard to make. So I love it. It's simple, it's easy, and there are resources just everywhere if you really want to focus on it. But that being said, you can also completely ignore it and just enjoy the other aspects of the game and not worry about crafting anything. And there's no penalties for doing that either, which is really, really great. One complaint, I'm sorry, I should have done, I'm going back and forth on what I like, what I didn't like, but one complaint, to me, this is the big one. I think that the inventory system in this game flat out sucks. The whole equipment screen and how, when you're selling shit and what you're wearing and when you're trying to compare stuff, it is so cumbersome, awkward, and stupid. For example, like, if you're going to craft something, if you're going to craft a suit of armor, it would be really, really nice if when you have your schematic list and, you're picking what you want to craft, why can't you have a little window where it shows what you're wearing? Like, you have to get out of the crafting window, open your inventory or your inventory window, see what armor you're wearing, and then go close that window down, and then go into the armor crafting and see if the numbers add up. Like, why can't it just say, okay, you're gonna make this, here's what you have on, just so you know, here's what you have, or here's all the if you want to make heavy armor, here's all the heavy armor you have in your inventory to compare, so you don't go, making stuff that you already have way better of. It's just so incredibly unintuitive the way that the equipment screens worked, and comparing gear and just like outfitting your guys, because when you have 9 guys and you're mixing gear for each of them, and in the game's defense, like, if they did like, gloves, shoes, pants, belts, like, I would just blow up because of the inventory fucking mess. But it's just like armor, they don't do like, gloves, pants, it's just, you just have an armor thing and a weapon thing and, accessories and stuff like that. It's not that bad as far as what gear you can have on you. It could be way, way, way worse. I'm just talking about the menus and stuff like that, where this should be better. It's so, I'm sure maybe it's better on computer where you have the mouse clicky and stuff like that. I don't know. But on PS4, it is obnoxious. Dealing with gear is obnoxious as shit on the PS4. I haven't heard anybody complain about this, or I haven't read anybody. Maybe it's just a me thing. I don't know. Weird stuff in games kind of bothers me, but this, it's frustrating and sucks. Some of the things that also bothered me about this story, I have no idea. I kind of pause about going into this about stuff relating to the story because again I haven't played the other two games, so I don't really. Maybe there's perfectly valid reasons for this. The one thing that really bothered me, you're in this place called Haven, and that's kind of your base of operations, right? That's the Inquisition headquarters base thingy. Haven gets blown up by the big bad guy and his crazy ass dragon thing. So you're wandering around with your posse, your Inquisition, and you're demoralized, and you're like, fuck. We're in the frozen wastes, we're wandering around, what are we gonna do? And your elf buddy, Solus, says, hey, you want an empty castle? There's one, couple blocks away. Past the pizza place, make a right, and then there's a giant empty castle that nobody's taken. We can set up there. And you do. And that's like your new base of operations, which is 50 times bigger and 50 times more awesome than your old one. I mean, Skyhold is awesome. I love that place. It's so great. And it's not the zone itself or anything like that. It's great. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I love it. But what the fuck? Like, really? Just, hey, where are we? Oh, well, we're in a snowy wasteland. Wait a minute. That snowman looks familiar. Is that, hey, we're right by a giant abandoned castle that I happen to know about. Anybody want to go move there and set up there? And so you do. And that's it. Now, I don't know if this Skyhold place has been in other games, Dragon Age games, probably has been. But, like, it's just how convenient. I don't know. I thought it was weird. I thought it was very, 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 very weird. I'll look it up if it's been in other games. It's just so funny. It's just like, where are we going to go? Oh, wait, I know. The giant abandoned keep. Let's go. There's nobody there. We're just going to set up there, and that's great. That's awesome. That's very convenient. Very convenient. But hey, I am Jesus. I am Dwarf Jesus, after all. So I guess that's how we roll. How we roll there. I've heard that the 360 version of Dragon Age is a mess. Lots of bugs, and apparently you cannot download it to your system. This is just stuff I've read. So when you play it, you have to play it off the disc, and anyone who's played an Xbox 360 game off the disc knows that it sounds like there's World War VIII going on in that bitch. It's pretty loud. It sounds like stuff's gonna start. It sounds like in Star Trek when the warp core starts overheating. It's bad news. That sound is bad news when your Xbox is playing a game right off the disc, right? So apparently you can't download it from a disc. I don't know. That's just what I hear. Yeah. And also lip shine is annoying. It really is. Like, I hate my guy having like lip gloss on. I mean, the first time I had to remake my dwarf, my first guy, so many times because I would think he'd look alright, and then in a cutscene he'd have like these gorgeous, supple, like gleaming, like blowjob lips, and I was like, that's not the look I'm looking for this guy, at all, really. That's not what I'm into there. So that was kind of weird. But all in all, I really, really very much enjoy Dragon Age Inquisition. I would say it's probably my favorite out of the games I have. I've spent the most time on it, I believe. I think so. I don't know. I've invested a lot of time. It's very fun. I'm excited about this second playthrough, kind of knowing what I'm doing better and knowing sort of what I'm looking for. Another drawback, but I think this goes for a lot of games in general. The lack of tutorials, especially in a game like this, in Dragon Age Inquisition, that is so big, that has so much stuff, and then it's kind of like, for example, Inquisition perks, they're really, really important. And I wasted just about all my points in mindless garbage because I didn't know any better. And by the time I thought, oh, these are a big deal, I had already spent them in like the worst possible places. And to my knowledge, I don't think there's a way to get them back and spend them again. I know you can respec via you buy. This is okay. This is just outright stupid. You can respec your guys and your party in Dragon Age. You buy these necklaces from your forge guy, a blacksmith guy, and you can get as many of them as you want. So you can respec whenever you want, as long as you can afford it. It's not that expensive, but it's not cheap either. But you should be good, you know. If you pick some stuff you don't like, or you want to try a different build or build. I don't know why I got all dramatic over hair flippy all of a sudden. But so it's not that expensive to kind of respec your guy, but how they pulled it off is moronic. How they implemented it, right? You buy an amulet from a blacksmith guy, and then when you equip the amulet is destroyed, and you refund all your skill points, and then you have to go find your amulet that you were using and put it on again. Like, can I just buy a respec from you? Can I just walk up to a vendor and say, would you like to respec your skills? Give me 365 gold. And I'd be like, done. But this, you buy an amulet, you equip the amulet, then you have to put your old come on, that's so stupid. And especially if you're respecing more than one person in your party, it's just tedious garbage. It's the, like, who thought that was a good idea, and how did several people not stop him with fists and guns? It's just corny. Again, inventory, in inventory and menus issues. I really find that not enjoyable about this game. The way the menus and the whole inventory kind of thing work, and the equipment window and stuff like that. They could have done it so much better and so much more streamlined, especially when you're dealing with 9 possible, well, 10 counting yourself, 10 possible people, where you're flipping through and everybody's got their gear and blah 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 blah. Like, I just wish they streamlined this and made it better. But really, all in all, I very, very, very much enjoy Dragon Age Inquisition, despite just from the wealth of shit there is to do, a truly literal overwhelming amount of stuff to do every place you go. The zones are beautiful. The graphics on the areas and stuff are really nice. Some wonkiness here or there, some strange kind of glitches in the graphics that I can see. Nothing crazy or anything, but definitely stuff that stands out. Your guy will freeze every now and again, like not for long, but just you'll be running and then and then start moving again. And you know, if it was a PC game, I could just chalk it up to having a shitty machine. But for PS4, I don't really think there's much of an excuse for that. Yeah, definitely I would recommend this game. I really think, isn't it the only kind of RPG type game on these next generation systems? I think it is. I don't know. I'd have to check on that. But it's definitely good. Definitely good stuff. I would recommend it if you like these types of games. They do some stuff that I think that is new to kind of the genre. I've never played a game where you really felt like you were in charge of something and you felt important and your guys seemed to matter. Really, really great stuff. Very, very, very important to me anyway. If you're gonna, they tell you you're a big deal and you are treated accordingly, and that's cool. That's different. That's something different for a game like this. So great job, BioWare. And by the way, this gets me incredibly excited for whenever the next Fallout game is coming out. I want that hard. Did I mention Cole sucks? Legit. Watch it, Cole.